second baseman, Aaron Guy.
You grew up in Canada as a kid. As you grew up, were you more of a hockey fan, hockey player, than a baseball player?
Certainly. When I grew up in Canada, as a young kid, my grandfather was an NHL referee growing up. So I mostly followed hockey, and it's national sport. Baseball is a sport that's kind of catching on up there, but there's a lot of people with Vancouver. We've got a AAA club here for the Angels, but it's something that's catching on, and with a little bit of time, it'll be really popular.
Do you have a first baseball memory, something that sticks out in your mind when you're a little kid, the first time you remember anything happening on the baseball diamond?
Well, as a young kid, when I was growing up, I just remember we only played about 10 games a year, and it was on a little island just off the coast of Western Canada where I grew up. And we just played 10 games a year against the same team, those 10 games. So it was a little bit monotonous as a kid, but as far as baseball being kind of a new thing for me and a lot of younger kids, it was exciting. We were doing something a little bit differently than some of the other kids around. A lot of people were playing hockey. Sorry, Dimitri, everyone calls me AG, plain and simple. I like to have fun, I like to joke around, but once I step on the baseball field, I'm all business, and just to know about myself is know that I take the game of baseball very seriously, but there's not a moment in the day that I don't enjoy what I do.
Now pitching for the Angels, left-hander number 18, Mike Holtz.
You grew up in Pennsylvania, and this is cowboy country down here. Did you grow up a big football fan, big Steeler fan?
I guess you could say that. The Steelers have always been, hometown favorites. Obviously, I'm from a small town near Pittsburgh. Kind of a heartbreaker this year, though. Yeah, that was tough. We went and camped out at River Stadium this year for playoff tickets, and that was quite interesting. We spent 2 nights sleeping in basically warm clothes in the parking lot, and minus 30-degree weather. So
yeah, that's
interesting. Yeah, but big Steeler fan. I haven't really started my pranking season yet. It's still early. We've only played 30-some games, and we got 144. So I'm trying to keep the good ones for the middle of the season. I was thinking around here, since we are in Texas, I want to capture one of those big old spiders you got here, put in one of the guys' lockers or shoes or something, that kind of a surprise, but we'll wait and see if I can find one first.
You guys spend a lot of time on the road, a lot of traveling. There's got to be a lot of idle hours. What do you do to waste that time away?
We've got PlayStation, the Sony PlayStation we spend a lot of time with. Once we get back from the game, if guys aren't, wanting to go out and, to a club or whatever, we'll just sit and play that until 2 in the morning and sleep in. So we basically work the second shift. We sleep to about 12 for most guys, and sometimes you go to the gym in the mornings. Basically just kick back, relax in the hotel room, and bus leaves usually around 4 o'clock, and find some of those really freaky, odd movies they have in the afternoons that, just King Kong and stuff like that, and you find yourself watching, what am I doing watching this?
Now batting for the Angels, number 40, Darren Doty.
You're a married guy, and that's probably, is that a rarity among the guys that you're growing up with, or is it fairly 50-50?
It's close to 50-50. I think it helps having a lady when you go home to just relax and talk things out if you have a bad game, or support you if you're not doing good, or pump you up when you are doing good. So I think it helps. I love being married. You got to find the right girl, obviously.
How is it for her, the traveling in the minor leagues and you being gone for a week or 2 at a time? Is that tough on her, or is she pretty easy with that?
It's a little tougher here because you have those long road trips here, the 10-day, 12, 14-day even. In the Texas League last year, in the Cal League, we had those commuters where you just drive there 45 minutes and you're back. So it takes a little bit of adjustment. She got a job and stuff here, so that helps a little bit. But your phone bill gets high sometimes, but it's all right.
Tell me a little bit about your first memory as a little kid playing baseball. Do you have one?
When I was young, I used to go to all the softball tournaments with my dad, and I'd play with all, those guys, and I watched when I grew up the Seattle Mariners and people like that, and I still remember watching Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in the World Series. I remember where I was in 2nd grade open house, so I can remember stuff like that.
What kind of role do you have on this team? Are you kind of like the funny guy, the quiet guy? Is there anything? How's Darren Doty on the Angels?
I'm kind of maybe the instigator, do things behind the scenes. Guys, don't think that I am very loud, but I end up getting guys in trouble. Try to, get under skin a little bit. So I'm not the really obvious guy, but kind of maybe the quiet little weasel guy. Thanks.
pitching for the Angels, number 23, Mike Freehill.
Hey, Mike, a lot of kids grow up wanting to be baseball players. You had that same dream, but in college things kind of changed for you. What happened?
I just decided that going towards medicine or wanting to go to medical school and become a doctor was a more realistic dream, although that's tough to accomplish also. So baseball didn't look like it would pan out the way you would like in high school or before.
You and I are both not from this area, and I know one of the first things I noticed here is the weather here is a little funky. I mean, it's really nice 1 minute, then it's rainy and windy right now. We started this interview, all of a sudden it's starting to rain. How does that affect you? I mean, is the weather something you've noticed, or how does it affect you when you're out here at the ballpark?
Well, it's something you definitely have to deal with, and all of us knew coming in that Midland was a windy place and the weather could get sometimes sketchy, but it hasn't rained much. It doesn't rain much, I guess, here, but the wind is tough, but you learn to deal with it, and you know, if you can pitch here, then you can pitch most places. The only thing I was worried about to start the year was if it got so windy it'd blow me off the mound. I'm pretty skinny, but I've survived so far. But for the casual fan, I guess it's best to know that not only Mike Freehill, but all the other guys on the field at the same time are doing everything in their power to do the best job they can and to help the team win. And sometimes when a pitcher walks a hitter or a batter strikes out or an infielder makes an error, it seems like, you know, yeah, they could have done better. But, you know, everybody at all times are working their hardest, and, you know, that's the best thing to know about me or about anyone.
You're going to make a prediction about yourself. Do you think Mike Freehill will go down in history as a better pitcher or a better doctor?
I don't know. Hopefully both. Thanks.
Now batting for the Angels, number 22, outfielder Greg Shockey.
Always want to be a ball player? Were there certain ball players you're into or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I played a variety of sports growing up. You know, I spent a lot of time at the beach, and I was also a BMX racer for like 4.5 years. So I thought that was pretty cool. But then one day I found out that there's not a whole lot of life in that after about 16, and so.
You know, you guys aren't allowed to chew tobacco, ever use any tobacco products during the game. You see all the seeds and stuff. Don't you find it kind of strange that you guys are here training to be professional baseball players, major league players? Once you get to the majors, it's pretty much you can stick the entire tobacco plant in your mouth?
You know, I believe, you know, this is a free country, and that, you know, it's, you have to take responsibility for your own life, and if that's something you want to do, of course, you know. I mean, I believe that it's a habit that's probably not all that conducive to, you know, longevity in life, but you know, I believe it should be left to the individual's, you know, choice and personal preference. You know, the kids look at us today as role models, and they want to be like us, and they want to try to do as many things as they can to emulate us. However, you know, the role models, I mean, I think they come from, you know, inside the house. And, you know, that's really what I believe. I mean, I'll try as hard as I can to encourage children and do whatever I can for them. I try to do some work in kids with Down syndrome and some people who are, you know, handicapped and what have you. I really feel, you know, that's a very deserving cause. A lot of kids that are healthy today, sometimes they just don't know how great they have it. I mean, I think my lucky stars, I'm able to play professional baseball, but